Hello, all over the world, all listeners, viewers, and followers. You're tuning into the Table of Redemption, Building Bridges of Hope and Redemption Series Part 1. You're in the final episode, and we are excited to have our next guest. Come on, let's go. I have Bianca with me as part of my MOC, and that's the micro learning community that we've been talking about throughout this entire season. And that makes up Jade, that makes up Alicia, that makes up Snehal, and that makes up Bianca, and then myself. I have all of them with me on the podcast, which makes me feel so blessed to be in this space with her today. So, to my guests, my colleague, my fellow Harvard alum, can you please tell me today, so what brings you to the table of redemption?
Well, thank you for that beautiful introduction, Rasheen. I am so happy to be here with you. That our MLC, like you were talking about, was definitely one of the highlights of my Harvard experience and kind of the reason why I was there, just being in a community with like-minded educators who just helped me see everything through different lenses. And when you asked me to do this conversation, there are some things where I'm like, I'm not sure. And this was just a hard yes. And like, yes, I'm so excited to have this conversation with you and continue where we left off.
Yeah,
May.
yeah. So, my guests are always humble. You'll hear me say that on every episode. We're all working on tough stuff, actually, working through tough stuff and working around tough stuff. But one of the things that you should know about Bianca, you'll definitely research her, look her up when you get ready. But she's an author, okay, of the time traveling fashionista, and it is a historical fictionary series that you would want to learn about and know about. We are here with her, okay? But there's another thing that she's done that's just one thing, okay? She has a long history of making the world a much better place through her writing and through the way she paints pictures and give people hope through her beautiful lens. And one of the things I love that I saw that was so beautiful was her actual write-up that she did in um, Ed Magazine. And the title of it is My Midlife Crisis Master's Degree. Forget the sports car, go back to school. And she did that on November 26, 2024. And this is her particular work. So I want to read you an excerpt for my own benefit. I'm just telling y'all go how y'all want to go. This is what I love. It says, "Do you own a CD? Do you know how to use a rotary phone? CD, rotary phone. Yes, yes, yes. I am standing in the packed hallway of Radcliffe Gymnasium for our ELOE program leadership, organization, and entrepreneurship orientation. We are in the midst of a people scavenger hunt trying to check off as many folks on our list who meet the requirements. It's hard to tell who may have taught social studies or who has had three siblings. Apparently, it's not that difficult to tell that I do in fact own a CD. Okay, several case logic books full of CDs. And I'm currently having vivid flashbacks of my childhood kitchen, seeing the pencil marks on the dial face of our rotary phone and the effort it took to make a local phone call. Forget about long distance. So to be honest, I didn't expect my 40s to look like this. I thought that was amazing to capture the way she wrote that. And I want to just utilize our time here to finish, just discussing the way Bianca is able to wade through life. And that includes some turbulent times. That includes, if you read the rest of the article, I find it a bit humorous. You might not find it that way, but wading through the way she thinks and the way she creates is just something that I just love. So Bianca, can you talk to us a bit about your lens of being able to be that artist, be that healer as well, and be that one that paint that picture? Because you know what? I was there
Do you
in that
remember that
same
day?
scavenger hunt.
Do you remember?
It left my until when I started reading it, I'm like, that's exactly what happened. You know,
Oh my gosh, our first day. And I guess yeah, I had forgotten that I would be about 20 years older than most of our classmates. But it was definitely driven home in that moment. But I mean, that was also part of the joy of being in school and learning from people who are, 20 years younger and 10 or 20 years older. But yeah, I mean, I think you and I, Rasheen, probably are on the same page of just like the through your work in theater, like the powers of stories to
yes.
connect us, to heal us, to, especially in complicated, messy times like we may be in, just how important storytelling is.
Yeah.
Um, so through my work as a writer, I write, as you mentioned, I have a series of books for teens. I have another series of books for younger kids. And then for adults, I write these personal essays. So whether it's about going back to school in my 40s or, um, being a stepmom or dealing with fertility issues or, being in a slightly unconventional marriage. I found just the more honest and authentic I am with my stories, the more I connect with other people and they feel seen in the work. So that's definitely, something that's so important and a
Yeah.
guiding purpose in my life.
Yeah. How did you come to this place? Okay, we can call it a profession, we can call it writing, but when I read your work, it feels like you're in a place.
Mm,
It feels like a place, a placement. Like you it seems like the work goes into trying to place this accurately into
mm.
the world or place it in the right sense that you're holding on to the authentic aspects, of who you are as you're writing and authentic aspects of what you want to emote when you are writing and delivering this to the world. Um,
Oh
is that
yeah.
is that something that you do? Because that's what I get.
Oh, that's so interesting. Thank you. That's beautiful. I mean, authenticity is a word that really resonates with me and something that I think is hope is one of my core values and something I try and teach the kids I work with that, the more authentic they are with their own stories, the more their stories are going to resonate with other people, the more they're going to be able to get to know themselves and form this identity. And um, I don't, when I'm writing, I try not to think about the bigger picture or who's reading it or where it's going to end up. I really focus on just what I can control, which is one word in front of the other. That's really it. But I think it all comes back to authenticity for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I can feel it. And when Bianca and I were in our MOC, I felt like she was the quiet one. What do you think?
I, yes, yes.
And I don't think
Um,
I was the quiet one.
You, well, yeah, as a writer, I feel so much more comfortable speaking through essays, through fiction, through the page than I do in a group setting. I felt super comfortable with you all. And I think as the year went on, I opened up and it was a lot easier for me. But, I'm an introvert. I do have a hard time. I mean, starting a podcast for me would be just like beyond beyond my capabilities. It's such a perfect medium for you. You're so good at getting people to talk and feel safe and comfortable and open up about their stories. But no, for me, I'm definitely the quiet one is definitely I'm not surprised to hear you say
Well,
that.
the reason why I say that, because, one of the things about the leadership redemption framework that I created, it posits that not all leaders are created equal. And I found it to be a beautiful thing, a beautiful attribute about you. And I also found it to be a place of resolve too. So by the time I read your writing, I'm like, that's Bianca. I thought it
Yeah.
was so beautiful because
Oh.
that's okay. So what you did as the writing is where I'm aspiring to be. Like my next venture or my next output will be writing, putting that in the world, out in the
Yeah.
earth. And I
Yes.
never anticipated how difficult that would be. No different than you might find it difficult s- trying to speak and convey. I didn't realize how that those are two distinct leadership qualities. And I,
Hmm.
and I paint this picture on purpose because someone may be watching or someone may be listening and maybe saying, I don't know if I can do that because I'm not this and because I'm not that. But I believe that you and I are painting a balanced picture to me that a lot of what we're both trying to do, it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And what you were saying about how, like, I don't think I could do that. One of the reasons why I want to go into this leadership program is, as I was a director at this nonprofit, if I want to continue being a director or an executive director, I was like, how am I going to be a really effective leader as an introvert? This, as my mind, leaders are extroverted and, surrounded by people and loud and very comfortable public speaking. And through this program, I realized, the things that I have that are really valuable for leadership. Some of that is from being an introvert. Some of that sensitivity, that empathy,
Yeah.
I think is ultimately a superpower. But through our amazing professor, like through Jen and Ebony, who are both introverts as well, and seeing them command a room, and
Yes.
it was very inspiring and but it is work. Like there are certain things that come
It is.
naturally for me, certain things that don't, and I want to improve in those areas that don't, but that's work for me. But for writing, Regine, you have such a distinct voice. Like your voice on the page is gonna, it's I can help you write this book. We're just gonna get this what you're saying down on the page, and that's all writing is, your story. Just transcribe. Basically, I just need to sit around next to you with a laptop and get everything down.
Hey, I'm gonna take you up on that, like effective immediately. That
I'm there.
that would be a dream come true. I'm actually about to cry, because it's something I literally, it's not that I don't have writing. I have lots of it, but it's stored up in like it looked like a bunch of writing. Um, it's almost like trying to lose weight. You got
Mm,
all of this pound, you weigh all of this pounds, and you're trying to fit in a size 10 or size 50, size, well, that's an odd size, but you get what I'm saying? I have all of this, and then this one platform and this one thing. So I'm coming closer and closer and closer to narrowing down what I want to put in the world because I've
yeah.
suffered so much, or I've been through so much, had so many different leadership opportunities until sometimes it's more refreshing not to have anything. Sometimes it's just like, when I taught in the performing arts, I saw opportunity anxiety two ways. I saw opportunity anxiety with students who had a lot of opportunities, and that drove them crazy because they didn't know which one to pick.
Oh,
But I
because there's too many options.
Yes. And then
Mhm.
opportunity anxiety on the negative integer side,
Yeah.
I don't have enough opportunities.
Yeah.
So I learned to see, people on these two spectrums, but try to be that voice in the middle that says, come unto me. Like, come this way. Let's come back to the center of it so that we can try to get something accomplished. And those are the things I certainly admired about you, working with you in our MLC, working with you as we were also in Linda's class together, watching how you put your vision together for your school, for your academy, that you may one day or might be doing right now. But I want to paint the picture again that we are all actively working to bring something to the world that is functioning for the time we're in now. So if you are listening to us from whatever spectrum or whatever place you are, I hope so far you gathered that we're two human beings who love to create, who love to be a part of other people's journey and healing. But we also have our own journey as well. That sometimes, because we are a part of other people's journey, ours probably get sucked in a little bit and gets like a little vacuum, and we might not be able to tell it. So today is that time for us to sit here as one and be able to shave off all the academia, take off all the pressure of being a wife, mom, and all the titles and just talk. So far, what we've learned from Bianca is that she is that leader that has an inner power, inner quietness, an inner strength that comes through writing, that comes through creativity, that comes through her role in such a way that brings about a meekness and a calm. And believe you me, when you're in the middle of crisis, I think that's what you're going to need. You're going to need something kind of like opposite of what you are used to kind of like bring yourself to a place to synthesize a bit about how you're going to navigate through your next crises or through your next complexity. So that's why I love having her on the platforms. Number two, Bianca is, bringing to the table years of experience and years of being able to craft a narrative that brings people together. It's not misinformation, it's not anything weird. It is something that we all can digest. We can all digest. That's the way I feel about it. And number three, one of the things that she has, for me, is a calm, a natural calm. And these to me are high value leadership qualities as we're talking about adversity, crises, complexity, uncertain times that our work is sitting in. So please do not write yourself off the list if you are not as charismatic or emoting as loud as you want to be, or starting a podcast, which I have been very scared to do.
Have you?
Yes.
I was not. That's well, you hide it well. That's
Very scared to do, but we're here now, right? That's what I've been telling myself. We're here
that, yep,
now.
yep. No, I think
So,
it's, I'm so glad you did. When I saw that you're doing this, I was like, of course. Like that is the most obvious to me next step for you. And whoever, I mean, then the books, I mean, there's so much to come, but it makes you just have that light and personality that is perfect for this format.
oh, thank you for that. I really appreciate that encouragement as well. Now, can you talk to us a bit about maybe are there mentors or inspirations in your life that you may want to give a shout out to before we get into our questions and the meat of, what it is we want to learn from you today? Any family members, anybody that you want to say hey to, or just any?
Yeah, well, for the first person who comes to mind is my grandmother Louise, who just turned 95 years old. And she has always been, she's a probably, I'm so close with her, and have been since I was a little kid. And she was a teacher, a second grade teacher, and just one of those teachers where, she's, as I said, she's 95 now, and she still has her students writing to her and visiting her
Wow.
and including her in all their life events, their marriages, their kids. Um, just someone who was uh, is so curious about everyone, so lived a life of service, really wanting to. She had dyslexia,
Wow.
ADHD, way before these things were, diagnosed. So I had a really hard time in school and then ended up becoming a great teacher because of those struggles that she had. So, when I was a kid, I would go into her classroom and that seemed like the most glamorous job in the world to me, just being a teacher. So, ending up at ed school all those years later, I definitely think goes back to the influence she had on me when I was a kid.
Oh, that is so special. That 95 years old.
She's, yeah, you got to meet her. She's awesome.
I would love to meet a 95-year-old. Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
And I mean, she comes across as so much younger just because of she's never stopping interested in things. She's so
Wow.
busy. I call her. She's available for a few minutes, but she's so busy. She's got meetings and she's still teaching some kids and doing private tutoring and just like her schedule is more booked than mine right now. So that's
Wow.
the what I aspire to.
Excellent, excellent. Anyone else before we move on?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I think we both would probably say Linda Nathan, right? She is the best.
She is. Hey, Linda. I'm gonna get you on this podcast.
She's got to do it. Yes. Yeah. No. just someone who really walks the walk. And, watching her, just watching her in a classroom too, and how she was able to bring out the best of all of us, and see the relationships. I mean, she has relationships with students from, years and years as well. Just people who are able to form really deep, real relationships,
Yeah.
and create that community and stick to their values. That was very inspiring to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And Linda is such an advocate for us. Like,
Yes.
don't bother her
Yes.
students. Do not bother Linda Nathan's students. Trust me, you don't want to do that, honey. She loves us and she will literally go to town to make sure we are taken care of. And I'm not just talking about at Harvard, I'm talking about throughout her life, including her own children and just the youth in general.
Mhm.
She is such a proponent of making sure when we talk about well-being, when we
Mhm.
go to the pillars, these pillars were reinvented in Linda's class, her first class.
Oh,
That
amazing.
I,
Okay. Yes.
uh-huh, yep,
Yeah.
that's what the framework came out of. It started on Elizabeth City's desk. It started in my purpose statement, why I wanted to come to
Okay.
Harvard and what I was going to do when I got there. Then when it's time to take classes, I felt like I wasn't sure if this was the environment, even though that's what I said. I was going to try to piddle at it. Then when we got into Linda's class, she says, we're going to build a framework. And I'm like, wait, and she said it every week, every week, every week. And she showed us hers and she gave us framework design. I mean, it was a lot that she was able to do, inspiring us through her leadership style, that I said, let me just go ahead and knock this out. Then we had to do the exhibition. And I actually did my whole presentation on leadership redemption. Then the next semester, I took David Doctorman's class, and my coach was Juliet Adams, and we went over a lot of scaling. So I began to scale it. And so I actually did the leadership redemption framework at Harvard the entire time and came out with this particular model that I want to do. And so yes, our professors take great care of us. I promise you. You would never go on campus and not see some type of professor advocating for us and
Yeah.
making sure we have what we need. I'm talking about from the beginning to the end. I
Yeah.
think that's one of our most fortunate features, being in the ed school. I can't speak to the other colleges, but I know for the ed school, we feel very cared for and loved,
Yeah.
with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say before we go on?
No, that's good. Let's do the pillars.
Yes, here we go. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed our warm up, honey. Learning about Bianca, learning about who she is, because you know what? It's important that my show puts a face to the name and a name to the face. We pass over so many podcasts, we're inundated with information. I actually like getting on my podcast and taking a slow journey into these pillars, a slow journey into what this looked like, because a part of what I do is called the fitting room. I want to see how it's going to fit us when we walk into an actual leadership situation. And so Bianca's lens today is going to share her definition, how she's been able to embody these particular pillars of the framework. So, Bianca, let's talk about the pillar of purpose. How do you define purpose? How do you embody purpose? And how important is purpose to you in the work you do?
Mm. Oh, purpose. I mean, purpose is everything, I think. Yeah, it's incredibly important. So for how I see my purpose, is, to tell stories that are authentic, that are joyful, but also that, help people, especially young people, feel less alone and
Mm,
recognized. Um, and, to create a space for reflection, for imagination, and creativity for kids and self-expression. So
yes.
it's part, discovering that purpose over time, which has evolved as I've gone, has really like kept me going in, a field that is unpredictable and,
Yeah.
at times can be disheartening. Um, in terms of like the writing field, it's not always easy. Publishing definitely isn't easy. So like staying true to this purpose has really been crucial for me.
Good. Do you have any ebbs and flows or things that you have done to, when you talk about staying focused on your purpose, in other words, do you have any tips that you do, any things you do to stay focused on your purpose?
Well, I am a big advocate of journaling, and that's one of the projects I'm working on now. So
Okay.
every morning before I do anything else, I write in my journal for maybe half an hour and just get out all of my thoughts, connect with what I want to get done that day, get rid of you know, anything that's not serving me, and just so I can feel fresh and connected to the day. Do you do a journal, Rasheen?
I actually have not done, I actually started back doing a journal, an actual written, handwritten
Yeah.
journal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's very critical when we're talking about in the world of writing. When I'm talking to a writer, I have to be very specific. I
Yes.
have to be real specific. A written journal, like I've been doing a voice one and been getting away
Oh,
from that
okay.
for a while.
Okay.
Just returned to a written journal as of post Harvard.
Great. Okay.
Yes, post Harvard, and I've become addicted to it every morning,
It's a
and
yes.
feel like I'm keeping a secret to myself.
Yes. I love that. Yes. So that yeah, I think the handwriting is key. Just, being disconnected from any devices. So the one I'm working on is for kids, giving them different prompts, getting them offline, little writing prompts, drawing prompts, just a way to connect with themselves, help develop their identity, process emotions. Yeah, that's definitely helped me throughout my life. So now I just have boxes and boxes of journals that I don't know what exactly to do with, which I realized when I was moving to Cambridge that I have so much it's a lot of baggage now, but but actually they I've been keeping these since I was a kid. So when I was writing my book about a 12-year-old girl, if I ever forgot what it was like to be 12, I could actually go back to my journals and see exactly what it was like to be 12 from my perspective.
Wow.
So they've served me in surprising ways, actually, not just on like a daily basis, but as a research tool as well.
You know what? This is my first time, I think it's my first time ever processing journaling as a way to help you stay on purpose. I honestly, this is a new one for me. I'm so glad I asked you that because we need our audience to have takeaways. And if you already journal, it's your job now to insert that into how you're going to stay focused because I just never, it made me feel so good just now when you said that because I can actually do that.
Oh, good. Okay.
You see
Yes.
what I'm saying? How we have so many
It's
lofty,
very
you know?
concrete, small, attainable, and it doesn't have to be perfect. There's no one's seeing this besides you, hopefully. No one's seeing mine besides me. And it's a first draft, it's getting everything down. It's not creating a perfect sentence or anything like that. It's just for yourself and just for your own well-being. So I love it. I'm a big journal evangelist for sure.
I love it, journal evangelist.
Well, so I'm going to challenge you to keep up this habit, or because I feel
Okay.
like this will help with the book as well, and this is gonna be a game changer.
Excellent. Excellent. I did it until I learned how to do voice recording. And I had to do that because when I had the stroke and got sick, I couldn't write or talk or do anything straight. And so the speech therapist said, start putting together sentences and hearing yourself back. And so it became my superpower. But then
Wow.
now I have a different energy leaving HGSC. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I'm speaking, I don't, nothing leaves my body
Hmm.
because I'm writing to heal. I'm writing, I'm documenting it to move something. And so as soon as I got back home from Cambridge,
Hmm.
I still felt a weight that I needed to distribute this weight. It needs to be distributed. So my nephew Emmanuel, who's gotten accepted into Howard, um, who he bought me a journal. Like I have lots of journals, trust me, empty. People have bought them for me. And I was putting them away for a special time, not knowing that this would actually be the special time. And when I put pen to paper, the weight lifted off of me.
Wow. Yes, I believe this. Absolutely. That's amazing.
It literally, and I couldn't believe it. So when you said journaling just now, I wanted to jump through the screen, run around the laptop, and come back and say, girlfriend.
I wish you could. I'd love to give you a hug right now. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so glad that connected with you.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. So in terms of you being able to have this skill, this talent, this ability, how has it helped you maintain your resiliency, meaning that, and you don't necessarily have to answer it through that lens, but since we're here, to me, writing has been one of those things that have helped me get back on track or track my progress or do something to let me know all hope is not gone.
Yes.
Because, you know, have you gone through something that you had to write about, right? That have challenged you or challenged your resiliency. And in that kind of thing, writing has been there.
Oh, yeah,
Shape that.
100%.
Okay.
That is, I think, one of the gifts of being a writer is that I do feel like no matter what happens, I have this tool that I can use. So even horrible experiences, I can write and turn it into an essay, or I can write and um, turn it into a piece of fiction, or use it for something creative and productive.
Mhm.
Um, and so that is always a comfort for me, even though when you're going through it, it doesn't actually, it's still hard.
Mhm.
But I think, I mean, to me, resilience isn't about pretending like everything's fine and like everything's perfect. I'm so resilient. I'm so happy, even though everything's really tough. It's about, you know, really staying connected to yourself. And that I do through writing in this daily practice of journaling. And just like getting really honest about what matters to me when there's so much chaos on the outside.
Ooh.
Um, and I mean, just thinking of moments where I had to be resilient. I feel like you and I connected on this, Rasheen, just that, the death of a parent
Yeah.
is one of those times that's so hard. Um, and just being able to hold all of this sorrow and sadness and also love and joy at the same time
Yeah.
is tough. But through, I'm writing a book now, and the character in it lost her father. And there's a scene in it that I just showed to a friend who it really like it comes out in fiction. Like I can use that experience I had and the more life experiences I gather to create richer work. And so
Ooh.
it's, I think it's writing is a huge part of my resilience for sure.
Yeah. So basically, getting to the bottom, getting honest with yourself, getting real honest with yourself is a part of your resilience.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it because I never heard that before. And then number two, utilizing the resilience, not just saying, basically, I'm paraphrasing, not
Mhm.
just saying I'm resilient, not just hearing the word, because to me, it's overused in so many facets and dimensions
Yeah.
now. And to me, you're helping to spin it back into a place where people are intrigued. So getting a time to get honest about what really matters. It's a time to use it to make richer meaning, richer work, richer, make yourself into a richer self, richer life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And if
Yeah.
I can say one more word that I'm gathering from it, don't be afraid to lean into the plot that you've been given.
Or the plot twist.
Or
The
the plot twist, honey, or the side quest, honey.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of plot twists. I mean, I think, where did I read this? Someone said the title of anyone's memoir after 40 is like, oh, I didn't expect this is how it would go. Like, I mean, it's just you never there's a lot of plot twists. It never is what you expect. In good and bad ways. So yeah,
Yeah.
lean into those plot twists.
Yes, yes. And I think Jade, our colleague,
Hmm.
I think that's one of the things that she talked about as well when she was defining resilience. Don't be, I may be paraphrasing what she said, but I've also heard that said before. But to categorize it under resilience, categorize getting honest with yourself under resilience, categorize meaning making under resilience, you are doing the thing, baby. Because I'm telling you, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. And to do that through writing, like, so I wanted to make sure I talked to my audience real quick to let you know that you can do this. Like, we're here to be faces of hope. We're here to help you dream against the odds. We're here to help you wade. You'll hear me say that all the time, wade in the water of the changes you're trying to make. You might feel like you're stuck like Chuck. I don't know what you're facing today, but listen, Bianca said something that you can do. Like she said it, honey. Be honest with yourself right now. You feel pressure on you. Take it as a sign that no one's picking on you. And don't take it as something traumatic is about to happen. Take out your journal and keep yourself on purpose. And the resilience comes in there, according to my colleague, and that it's a time. Use that journal as a time to make sure you're honest. And most of the time, when I'm honest with myself, what comes after that is levels of humility that I needed to come
Hmm.
out instead of being
Hmm.
frustrated or angry about something that I can't even change.
Right.
So that's when we give birth to the richness that she's talking about. So I hope you can see that journaling, being honest with yourself, and then making richer meaning. And guess what? You don't have to be on social media to do any of that, blasting nobody out because they said this or that or third. You could be doing all that in the sanctity and sacredness of who you are as a person and growing as a leader. So this right here is amazing to me.
Um,
So
and
anything you want to
another
add?
thing, yeah, well, that just reminded me of, with getting honest with yourself, it's seeing, what are the old stories you're telling about yourself? What isn't true anymore? Because I think we get caught up in these old narratives, I'm not a leader, I'm not this, I'm not that. And I think with our MLC, I also got a little bit of honesty reflected back at me, so being able to talk with a cohort of colleagues who you trust and who are going to be honest with you is helpful as well. But yeah, just throwing out those old stories about yourself and updating them as you grow and change and get more resilient.
Do you think that that means going back to the journal and tearing those pages out that don't fit you anymore? Or does that mean burning up the
Yeah,
journal?
I
Or,
am all for burning up old journal. I have not done it because I'm afraid I'm going to need it for some project, but
okay,
if I highly recommend. There's a New Year's tradition we do where we write down all of these things that don't serve us anymore in the past year and burn it going into the new year. Because there is something very symbolic and freeing about getting rid of all the old stories,
okay.
the old stuff. So yeah, I'm all for that.
So basically, if it were me, which I'm learning for me, basically, if I don't want to throw the journal out, when I find something in the journal, write it on a piece of paper and burn it. Maybe not burn the journal.
Yeah, yeah, because I do enjoy like kind of looking back at these old versions of myself and seeing how much I've changed and grown. And maybe I don't know, I have so much more empathy for myself when I see myself from a distance because I feel
Yeah.
like, as I don't know if you're like this, but I'm just very hard on myself and why couldn't I be working more? Why couldn't I be
Very
doing this?
hard.
And but when I look at Bianca from 3 years ago, I just feel it's almost like you're protecting some other person, and it's easier to feel empathy. So I try and feel more empathy and give myself more grace in the present moment. That's still a work in progress, but I do. That's why I keep my old journals.
That's good. That's good because now there's a word that I'm hearing is anchoring, making sure we stay
Mm,
anchored,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
To me you're describing the anchoring process for how I came up, how I when I am doing framework design and curriculum design, you have so many images floating, but which one are you going to bring out the sky and put in the earth? And to me, I think that's kind of one of your superpowers, if you would take that from me, that
Mm,
you might not be um, the louder one or the more one that emotes externally. But
right.
to me, when I think about Bianca, I think about an anchor. You
Mm,
hold it
I
down,
like
baby.
that.
Because if they ever got rid of you at your job, or if they ever got rid of you someplace, the whole place will start floating around. They're like, where she went? Bring her back.
I
Hey,
love
wait,
that
wait, wait.
image.
Huh?
I love that image. That's great. I like that idea.
Yeah, because
Okay.
when my husband's quiet,
Mm-hmm. Really?
that does not mean he doesn't. He says just because I don't say a lot, it doesn't mean I don't have a lot to say.
Yes. Yeah.
He
That
says
I
that
like
all
that.
the time.
I like that. It's I feel like you guys are a good balance then. I could see
Yes, yes, yes.
I
And
can see why this works.
so seeing you do your thing and make the world go around in your lens is why I wanted you here. So far you are blessing me. I don't know about you. I brought you here to bless the people so that they can be so they can hear and be and grow and learn. But I feel like you're helping me um unlock that writer. I mean that writer, I'm sorry, that published writer, because I write, but
Right.
that one that's about to publish and become the actual author outside of my own
Yes.
four walls.
Yeah.
You're unlocking something in me, and I hope that that's what's happening with everyone else that's watching. When you now think of think of your resilience and your purpose through that lens, although this is not a question that I've proposed, do you believe that there's some type of spiritual component to it that helps you stay, any meditation or anything? Because that's kind of like one of the things that help makes the glue. So I have resilience, I have purpose, I have all these things, but the thing that binds together is I'm able to kind of like meditate and stay focused while I have these things seeming to orbit around me. Is that something that you do a part of your practice at all, to keep you
Well,
inspired?
the closest I get to meditating is swimming.
Okay.
So I've been a swimmer since I was a little kid, and it's now the one place where I'm not reachable. I'm not connected to any devices. I feel the most like myself, the most free. And so now my practice is I write in the morning, I swim, and while I'm swimming, the ideas are churning, and I
Oh.
get out with things just have like fallen into place. So if I have a plot point I'm struggling on, if we're working on an essay for Linda's class, like when I get out, the answers are there for me. And so it's not a religious thing for me, but it is a spiritual and meditative practice that if I don't have, I feel totally scattered and I'm not able to make those connections with, because there's so many things like the book I'm working on now has been in the back of my head for several years. And it's just been like things have been happening even though I haven't been writing it. And so now when I'm writing it, it's just all pouring out of me because doing, I've been meditating on it for all of this time. So that is actually a really key part of my mental health, of my creative life. And it's very specific to me. I imagine just like going for a walk without a phone, like doing anything where you're not reachable, you're not connected to the internet is so important and so hard these days.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I love the way when you were talking, you divided up between being a religious thing, a spiritual thing, just meditative thing, and not trying to anchor it, not trying to get people to put it in any particular spot, that this is a place that you can go when you are trying to work through something. So that makes me now want to ask the audience, what is the thing you do? Because as Bianca was talking, I I sense that there was something that's the glue. Like as I'm listening to her and have been around her, it's more than meets the eye for me. So that's why I wanted to take the liberty, if she allowed me to pick her brain a little bit more, to say, is there a practice? I said spiritual practice. But I love the way that she placed swimming on such a high platform as meditation. Like I need people to hear and understand these kinds of things, that there are places that are literally off limits to you. Like you can't, like when Bianca said when she gets in that water, she's unreachable. Well, I'm not coming down there because I don't swim that much. So I'm one of the ones, I'm like, Bianca swimming, y'all. We gonna have to get to her when she get out. Do not bother her. I will be the one protecting your swimming. But
Thank
you
you.
get it? But so I wonder what else we have in our lives that need to be treated like that. As so if it's not a religious practice or a spiritual practice, then can we still treat it like that so that we have something for ourselves, to ourselves? And I think this is a great leadership quality, that if we take what Bianca is saying, everything she's saying, through the lens of a writer, through the lens of a wife, through the lens of a mom, through the lens of an entrepreneur, and like just take your own life and try to frame it, I think you're going to find out you probably a lot farther along than you thought you were.
Mm,
I
yeah.
think that's what you're going to
Yeah.
discover. I actually think you're going to say, I got a journal that's going to help me stay on purpose. I actually been feeling resentful about some stuff. I'm going to lean into the plot twist. I'm
Mhm.
actually probably going to go ahead and put an upgrade on my ability to go to the gym or swim or play the piano. I'm actually going to upgrade that. It's not just a hobby, it's an actual spiritual practice for me.
Is that music for you, would you say?
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
I love
yes.
that. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So these are leadership qualities I want you to know. Under my framework, these are leadership qualities that we've been leaving on a table, that we because with other frameworks might not honor or cherish those things. This framework says, as a leader, don't leave no money on the table about what makes you who you are when you come to the table. When you step to the business deal, when you lay your head down at night, these are qualities that you need to start adding into the equation of what makes your world go round. And when we enjoy the thing that you do, what went into it? What
Hmm.
was that thing? So Bianca, it also now sounds like you're talking about well-being.
Yeah. Actually, and one of the reasons why I knew my husband was the one was that he protects my writing time and my swimming time more as much as I do. And he realizes how important that is to me. And if we're traveling, he'll find somewhere I can go to a pool. He knows he takes it seriously. And it seems like it's kind of silly and it's it meant a lot to me. So that's how I knew he was the right guy.
Gosh, that's beautiful.
Mm.
It doesn't sound silly to me because, those things break people up.
Yeah. Yes.
You
Yeah.
make me miss my swimming one more time. I don't act right if I don't swim. You know for a fact
That's true. It's for his own benefit as well. So
it's for your own benefit.
that's a fair point. Um, but yeah, no, This is I've never thought about all of this in through this lens, so it's actually quite interesting. I'm learning about myself as we're talking. So
Yeah.
thank you for framing all of this like that.
Yeah, yeah. I do a lot of narrative inquiry as my research method, my major research method. And also in psychotherapy, they just call it narrative therapy. And
Mm,
just being able to sense and read the room and be able to trust, have a level of trust that we can kind of go off the grid a little bit and find out what was that Bianca was saying or trying to say, or what am I sensing that needs to be said. It's like it's a little bit more to it than that. And so just to be able to have this space with you that in the time we already built while we were at Harvard, but to
yeah,
have this time together to not have the other pressures on us and be able to answer this way because we're not trying to turn an assignment. We're not trying to make anything, create anything. We're not trying to do any that thing, but just give people something that they can hang their hats on to, because people are hopeless and we're in such dark times, that I wanted to make sure we had this space to do that. And I think you're doing a fine
I love
job
that. I love that.
surfacing all of this, it may be personal information, I don't know, but I love it. I
So
love it.
good. Okay. No, this is really fun. And one just back before we move on from purpose, one thing that I was thinking about was how my purpose and I don't know, I can only speak from my own experience, but how it evolves over time
Ooh.
and how, initially I thought my purpose was to tell my story and how that's evolved into helping, kids and amplify other voices and help give kids the tools to tell their own stories. So I feel like you don't have to hold on to what your purpose was yesterday or 5 years ago. It's what is speaking to you in this moment and
Yeah.
during these times. And, it's also connected. Everything is what's happening in the world is connected with our purpose as well. So everything's
Yeah.
changing.
Oh, that's good. It's good. It kind of like now it's the difference between evolving and revolving.
Mm.
To me, it's getting in the nitty-gritty of what goes inside of our purpose, and when we're able to revolve around it, and but just be kind of like be evolutionary in
Hmm.
terms of who we are. And I think the best thing, that lens that comes to mind, is the lens of marriage,
Mm.
being with someone
Yes.
across time. And I tell all the people that come to me for relationship advice, because in another life I think I'm the love doctor, honestly.
I love that, Rishi. Yes. This is,
And I tell them, I said, well, if you're talking about, they ask me so many questions. I said, well, if you talk about marriage, it's one of the longest deadlines on the planet. It's to death do us part. And if your grandmother lived to be 95,
I know. I know.
and my dad lived to be 77, so it will behoove us to evolve. And then some stuff we revolve around it, and don't put too much emphasis on it. Just let it revolve. And then, we'll be over it in another season soon. So that's the importance, I think, of what you just spoke about.
Mhm.
So as we review about resilience, it's a time to get honest. It's a time to lean into those plots and accept the plot twist. In terms of you being able to do that in writing, it's a time to take that same writing and make it richer. And it's a time to also revisit and reevaluate your purpose so that you stay on purpose. I asked her about spirituality, but also it went into well-being, because swimming is considered like a physical exercise. And I think this is one of the first times that I have been in a space to look at exercise, or swimming in particular, as something so high up there, that it and the way Bianca uses it. You see what I'm saying? The way she uses it to help lead her into the writing, or lead her into the other spaces that people depend on her, is quite amazing to me. So I think that's covering well-being as well. The next part, Bianca, is is lifespan. Do you even use that word often, hear that word often? And, how do you view lifespan in what you're doing, in the work you do?
Ah, yeah, I don't, it's not a word that I use often. So that was the one I've been mulling over the most since we've started talking. And the first person that comes to mind, as we mentioned, is Grandma Louise, who's
Yes,
95.
that's lifespan.
So that's lifespan, but it's also lifespan. Like I also think of like it's not only the duration, but like how fully we're living in the life that we're living.
Mm.
So she covers both of those because she's seen a lot. She's been around for a while, but she's also so present, still teaching, still dancing, still curious. Curiosity, I think, is a huge motivation for me and something I try and inspire in the kids I work with. As long as you're still curious, triggers empathy, humanity, knowledge, you just get so I think it's length of time and the how fully we're living. So quality and quantity, right? The
Ooh,
quality of the life that we're living, not just like enduring, but really experiencing this life.
ooh, I like it. I like it. I like it. Not just enduring it, but experiencing it. Can you say that one more time?
So it's not, I don't just want to endure. I really want to experience life,
Yeah.
you know. And for me, that means creating space for creativity,
Ooh,
creativity and not running on empty, creativity, well-being, purpose, just filling my cup with all,
yeah.
that stuff.
That is
Because
good.
with what we're working, I mean, education, like I know so many people who are burnt out, it's hard work, especially now with all of the challenges we're facing. So, I think to avoid burnout, it's you've got to like really take deep care of yourself as
Ooh,
well
yeah. So you can live to enjoy the fruit of your labor.
and help others. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You got me thinking and feeling a bit more tender and softer over this particular part of the framework. I put it there because, two sides of it, two parts of it was your health, and then your actual life. Your
Mhm.
health, as in the difference between having health insurance and then having a end of life policy, a life insurance policy.
Mm.
So the two gets different treatment because I know I'm going to die. That much I know.
That's all we know.
But what I don't know is how well I'm going to be, and that's the part I'm in charge of.
Right.
So, but
Right.
what research is telling me, leadership gets caught in between the middle somewhere and want to avoid talking about the death, but don't necessarily quite make it to for figuring out how to take great care of themselves. So they don't do either well, they just do the middle well.
Mm.
They do the middle part of life well, meaning getting busy, working, taking care of others,
Yep.
running errands, forgetting about themselves,
Yep.
forgetting about themselves, and forgetting about themselves, right? Over
Yep.
and over and over. Did I say forgetting about themselves?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's like
Yep. Yep.
lifespan is like leaders do the middle well, but you got health care insurance to make sure you don't in case you get sick. And then you got life insurance, not in case you die because you know you're gonna die, but it's like two fears on either side of this leader. And I wanted to be able to create a framework that addressed the fact that you don't have to be afraid here or there. You don't have to do that. You don't have to live between two fears, book in your life with fear. That
Mm.
what we're doing is trying to say we need you to stretch out a little bit more between both ends and think about your lifespan. What would you like your life to look like at the end? Who have you served? How many lives have you changed?
Yeah.
What have you done? But I also like to see my numbers at the doctor's office not be so bad. I would like to see myself go on a vacation and actually schedule celebrations.
Yep.
And then maybe that can inform me of when I actually need to retire or begin to start a succession plan,
Hmm.
to leave a legacy, and not just drop dead. So all that goes back into how I would then shape up what you said about I don't want to just endure life, I want to experience life.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, success to me is just being able to sustain like this joy and purpose over a lifespan, right?
Hmm.
Um, but I think in terms of legacy, you know, with this book, I mean, that's another great thing about writing is my books are going to be along longer than I am, Hopefully, well, who knows with like everything going out of print. But, that's one way to make sure, a great way to reach people beyond what, we're here to do.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for letting us borrow your lens today.
oh my gosh, thank you. This was really I I learned so much from you.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, I actually see clearer. I actually see clearer, and I had my pen and pad out to write today. I learned from you. I'm going to jump in the pool.
Go for a walk. Any kind of like just getting away from your computer, from that blank page and getting like the blood flowing, seeing nature, just doing anything aside from looking at the computer, I think gets your brain going again. Or looking at your phone, just try and get into nature, go outside, jump in the pool, do something besides, banging your head against the keyboard, which I do as well, but not try not to do it that much. Or
Oh, wow. I have three final questions. You can answer all three, or you can answer one, or you
okay.
can say I'll pass. I like to give my
Well,
guests.
as an introvert, I'm getting to the edge of my socialization, but I'm gonna try and answer these questions.
It's simple. One is, what are you leaving the table with? Number two, is there any final things you want to leave on the table? And number three, is there something that you want to share with me as I continue this journey? Any words of encouragement or thoughts you want to share with me as I mosey along at this table?
Mm. Well, I feel like I've gained so much, and even just like like a deep breath and a moment to reflect, which in daily life you don't really have, right?
Mm.
So just having like this nice reminder that none of us really have it all figured out,
Yeah.
Like still work, it's always a process. I feel like when I was younger, I just thought when you're an adult, it's all figured out. If you went to Harvard, it's all figured out. Like all these, if you publish a book, that's the finish line. There's no finish line, We're still evolving and getting, making progress and refining our purpose every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of the point, right? Like it's all
Mm-hmm.
messy and beautiful and meaningful and so and weird, but I guess what I would like to leave on the table is maybe just a blank notebook. For you to write your own story. You're helping all of us tell our stories and guiding these narratives, but I'm gonna leave for you a blank notebook to start your book and
Okay.
tell your story. Um, and I think, I mean, advice for you, Rasheen, you're doing it. I feel like you have got it. This is like you're I mean, we can talk book advice. I'm happy to sit next to you with a laptop and do that, but I think just keep going, and even when it's hard, you're on the right path. And maybe especially when it's hard, just know that, you're doing what you're meant to be doing. And I'm
Oh,
so happy to be a small part of your journey.
oh my gosh. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Um,
Yes.
to push it out. In other words, a midwife.
I had
That's
never thought about that way. But yes, yeah, I'll be your midwife.
Hey, that's what I told my advisor when it was just so hard to get to fit the framework in things, and it was just writing in framework is hard stuff, trying to put your mind on paper and then for people to judge. I mean, for people to read and consume, and you feel so like you're good enough to do that, but then once it's published, you're like, what? You know, you're talking about resilience.
Hmm. Yeah, no, you need to get over that. You're worthy. You've got you need to put your stuff down on paper. This is going to help people, and yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect from the beginning. It'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You've
what I
got
like to hear.
you've got so many people who want to help you out along the way. So you're not doing it alone for sure.
Excellent, excellent. Well, everybody, this has been me and Bianca. This has been just a snippet into our daily lives separately, and we get a chance to do this together in having this conversation. I created the table of redemption as just a conversation piece for the leadership redemption framework because I wanted to get out of the research mode. I wanted to get out of four walls of academia mode and get into some real stories of people who are doing life in leadership in crises, and they're actually doing a good job. Actually, they're actually doing something. In other words, the tendency is to freeze or stop, drop, and roll, to treat it like we're in a doomsday time, like we're not going to ever get over the things that we're suffering in leadership in this time. We see in government and politics, we already see in our current administration, people getting fired left and right. We already see talks of a recession, but no one's really saying it. Or we looking at budget cuts in education. We're looking at people eradicating arts, the writing, the visual writing, arts, the creative writing.
Yeah.
We see all of that. But what we're saying is we're going to protest, a personal protest against quitting.
Yes.
Okay, well, like when the picket signs, we shall overcome, or all lives matter, Black Lives Matter. We have a picket sign says we're not gonna quit. And I wish I could put one what Bianca said, no finish line. There is no finish line. So as we have been here with you today, I always end the podcast by saying, I sure hope that you've been to this table and you've been well fed through intellectual excellence, well fed through just you knowing that you have something more that you can do with your life. I hope you've ordered what you want. And when I say order what you want, it is about putting your life, your goals, and your steps in order. We talked about with Bianca using writing as a tool to stay on purpose, utilizing levels of your resilience as a moment to go ahead and be honest with yourself. Take and focus the pain, focus what the challenges you feel, the shifts that you feel. It's a time to dig deep and be honest with yourself about that emotion. And I heard always hear people don't fake depression, they fake being happy. That's what they really fake. Because it's easy to put on a smile and fake that. But when you find yourself in depression, it's hard. It's real hard sometimes. That's a heavy lift to try to be something to somebody that you're not. But people do it anyway. We want to say it's time to kind of like take a step back from that and just be your authentic self because we love you for who you are. So as you are leaving this table, you are being charged with life and power. And just as Bianca has left me with the empty journal, which I'm going to take advantage of, I leave the same thing with you. That you need to, if you have to go to the Dollar Tree, honey, let me tell you, Five Below have some amazing writing stuff, and it's real quality, baby. You need to go and get you something to begin a new you in a new way. And if you can find yourself doing something new, imagine what else more you can do. What more have you been sitting on? What other skills that you have been sitting on? Because I'm going to find you and I'm going to say, so what brings you to the table of redemption? How has your work changed lives? How are you shifting the world that humanity is a better place because of you? And when I find you, I really want you on my show because I believe you're worthy. I believe you're worth it. And I believe that you have something to offer. And I'm talking to me as much as I'm talking to you, because we're all going to get there, baby, somehow or another. I am signing off as Rasheen Jamison-Richardson. Thank you again, Bianca, for this amazing conversation. And then we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
The Table of Redemption podcast disclaimers: views expressed, branding, and mutual benefit. The Table of Redemption podcast is part of the collaborative refinement phase of the Leadership Redemption Framework before it goes to market. This is a research-based initiative led by myself, Rasheen Jamison-Richardson, your host. Guest participation contributes to scholarly exploration through narrative inquiry and receives platform exposure in return. Rasheen, myself, do not receive financial compensation from guest appearances or their affiliated work. This project is not formally endorsed by Harvard University, Harvard Graduate School of Education, or any institution or any sponsorships at this time. Any reference to anyone's brand, including Harvard's brand, are solely based on my academic experiences as a graduate student and now an alumni, and I do not imply institutional affiliation or approval on any of the content that I am producing. This is all my original work, designed, built, and invented by me across a 20-year experience as an educator and practitioner and researcher. All stories remain the intellectual property of the guest and are shared with mutual respect, transparency, and the shared goal of building bridges of hope and redemption in times of crisis. To continue following the Table of Redemption podcast, you may visit www.thetableofredemption.com. You may be able to find our content on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast.